Write this down. People buy into what they help create. People buy into what they help create. This is why it's extremely important to simply give a hint to what your main characters in your stories look like, and then let the audience mentally fill in the rest of those characters. Listen to this 15-second live clip of one of my speeches. So I went to the vice president of the company. He was a young guy. He was real slick. Looked like, kind of like a young Don Johnson. Welcome back. So do you see him? Do you see this character? What did this vice president look like to you? He probably looked like whatever a young Don Johnson looks like to you. I gave you a hint and let you fill in the rest. But there are other ways to give hints about your character as well. Number one, give the hint in dialogue. For example, in the middle of the story, you might say something like, Jenny, when did you become a blonde? Or I heard Patricia Fripp say of one of her characters, Patricia, I guess you can call me a big gal with big ideas. Can you see that character? Huh? Or in one of my stories, I do the whole scene in dialogue and give the description. And I say, Jermaine, look at you. 18 months ago, you walked into these doors as a 6'3", 120-pound disheveled man. Your beard was all messed up. You had absolutely no light in your eyes. You told me, you said, Mr. V, I feel spiritually and emotionally bankrupt. I also make sure my audience knows that this is a homeless man. But can you begin to see him? Now, you don't even have to give that much description as I did. The key is to just give a hint, let the audience fill in the rest. And you can do it in dialogue without leaving your story. Another way to give a hint is use an adjective name for the person. For example, this happened in one of my audiences. I was teaching this exact subject of giving your characters a hint, and I asked my audience, I said, so what did that character look like? And this big burly guy in the front row said, he had a ponytail. I knew this character didn't have a ponytail, so I said, a ponytail? What do you mean he had a ponytail? Why would you say he had a ponytail? The big burly guy stood up and said, because that's how I saw him. I said, oh, maybe he did have a ponytail. You mean like from a horse, right? But here's the key. He was right. Because I don't care how he saw him exactly. I just care that he saw him. He was right. I should just give the hint and let him mentally fill in the rest. If he wants to put a ponytail on a person, let him put a ponytail on him. It's fine with me. And it's safer that way, too. So do you see him? Do you see Mr. Burley? I gave him the adjective of being big and burly. Whatever big and burly looks like to you is fine. Because I want you to create the rest of him so you'll buy into him. So give an adjective name. A third way is through your voice and through your gestures and through your posture. For example, instead of describing a homeless woman I come in contact with, I simply and slightly take on her physical posture while using a scratchier voice. So she says something like, Sonny, what is it that you want to be when you get older? Okay, this posture and this voice helps my audience see her. And I do this in another one of my stories, too, with a guy I refer to as Mr. H. And Mr. H meets me when I'm 10 years old. He's like a father figure to me. And he looks at me and he says, hey, little Craigie, how you doing? Okay, just a slight change in my voice. How you doing? And his voice gives a hint to what he looks like for you, the audience. So whatever you do, the key is to give a hint and let the audience fill in the rest. Because, again, people buy into what they help create. Let your audience be part of the creation process. Give your hint. There are endless ways to give hints for your characters. Just make sure you do it. So work on that this week, and until next week, keep speaking up. Keep speaking up.